Hi, I'm Dex Gelfand, and I thought it would be a good time to bring you all up to date on what's happening with my books. You notice I said plural books. I know that generally what I've been talking about is that I've got a book that's in the process of being published. Right now, it's between my literary agent and publishers, and discussions are underway. The book will be out. My guess is it will be early to mid 2021. You'll be able to get it in your Barnes and Nobles or other bookstores and order it online and so forth. The expectation is that the book will widely sell, be popular, and be available. Now, the name of my first book is Honoring Your Spiritual Compass. And you can see, as it says here, full title, Honoring Your Spiritual Compass, Achieving Greater Self-Realization by Making Use of the Natural Laws of Therapeutic Spiritual Counseling. That's what I call my approach and my techniques, therapeutic spiritual counseling. And this first book will cover quite a bit of material. It will give useful information explaining the spiritual dynamics behind the moments that we experience in life and how to better navigate the course of achieving your aspirations and dealing with the barriers that we encounter. And also, there's a good number of techniques in the book that you can use, that I've developed, that I use in my professional counseling sessions with my clients, with my participants. They're very, very effective techniques. And in this book, I've written them out so that you could apply them for yourself, with yourself, to yourself. It may not necessarily be as effective as getting professional counseling sessions, but quite profound changes and realizations can be had. To give you some idea of the book, I'm going to show you the first page of the table of contents. Well, maybe I'll show you all the pages. Here's the first page. Give you an idea of the content. Just to summarize, the section's titles are, first there is the perspectives of therapeutic spiritual counseling, followed by the principles of therapeutic spiritual counseling, then coexisting and engaging with others, followed by the spiritual architectures that affect us, and then the magical techniques of therapeutic spiritual counseling to unravel your self-sabotaging spiritual architectures. And then there are a couple more techniques in the final section, section 8, higher ground, advanced techniques for greater realization of your spiritual presence. These will not disappoint, as any of my clients would tell you. And that is the first book, Honoring Your Spiritual Compass. But what isn't well known is that I've got at least 3 other books in the works. And in fact, each of them is mostly complete. The very next book in sequence will likely be my book that is a training manual for practitioners to professionally apply my techniques and my approach of therapeutic spiritual counseling with their own clients. I have trained a dozen practitioners so far, people who had some sort of counseling or therapy practice. And then I've trained them in my approach and my techniques. I think each of them will tell you it was well worthwhile. But I have never actually published a training manual before, because I work one-on-one mentoring and training practitioners. And I thought it was time I made the information more broadly available. So that will be the second book. Now, the third book will be, I think the working title of it is 365 Days of Spiritual Inspiration. It's 365 different quotes of mine. This is kind of interesting. This started out because my marketing associate created a social media campaign for me over Instagram. And he asked me to go through my works and find him quotes so that every day he could post a new and different quote of mine on Instagram. And in starting to do this, much more came to me. I have inspirations all the time. So I started writing quotes specifically for this kind of use. And there will be a third book, which, as I said, the working title is 365 Days of Spiritual Inspiration. One of these quotes for every day of the year, maybe sort of a calendar book with illustrations. I'll read some examples to you that will be among the quotes that you find in this book. To know what you need to spiritually digest, focus on your dreams and aspirations, and any and every spiritual architecture of yours that opposes your dreams and aspirations will line up and present themselves, making them available to be processed. Here's another one. That accomplishment or level of ability that is beyond you, try granting yourself permission to be capable of that. The most primal energy supporting our negative spiritual architectures is fear. Digesting your fears, which is far simpler and easier than you would think, is wonderfully empowering. And I'll give you one more. The only thing holding back the universe from presenting what you desire is your own internal opposition. So that's the third book, 365 Days of Spiritual Inspiration. Now, as things have progressed in my inspirations and in my work and in my writing, some of my inspirations are not short quotes. As I think them out, they become essays. So the fourth book, which I haven't assigned any title to as of yet, will be a compilation of essays based on my inspirations in relation to what I've observed, learned, and intuited regarding the spiritual dynamics behind how successful we are in accomplishing our aspirations and in the dynamics of engaging with others. And I will read you a couple of these. The energies you avoid feeling are the key to your liberation. There is no work of any kind involved. You just don't activate your defenses and let the energy express through you. And you'll feel all that is keeping you blind and oppressed melt away. Never identify yourself as or with your condition. or what your condition appears to be. It is toxic to identify yourself as the person with that condition, because then you hold the condition in place because you are deciding that you are it and it is you. You are not available. You are not a failing. You are not a situation. You are not a condition. You are simply and purely you. As you practice simply having the presence of yourself, others, and the environment consciously, rather than being lost in the images, thoughts, and feelings of your mind, you will be surprised at what you have been missing. All the brilliance, happy energy, and love, all the shared togetherness of this world. Simply be accepting, conscious, and mindful, and drink it all in. Sometimes a person feels like he or she isn't loved, nobody cares, or nobody is kind to them. That is actually an attitude, and thereby a projection. It becomes defensive in nature. It is installed and activated. The truth is, you are loved, and you love, and all of existence is based in love. What needs to happen is for each of us to examine the energies within us that prompt such a reaction. Let them be digested, those energies. Then examine the consequences of having taken on such a defensive attitude, and compare these to what you intended to accomplish in taking on that attitude. When you have taken these steps, you can then discard your defense against accepting and giving love. And you will feel the love that is here. It's always here, has always been here, will always be here. And one more, and this is certainly one of my favorites. Again, we're talking about my fourth book, a collection of essays that I hope can profoundly affect how you live and how you experience your life and your perspective. We are such silly beings. I don't know if anything is more comical than assuming a serious attitude, such as righteous indignation. I have never laughed harder than when I've recognized myself doing something like that. Never miss the opportunity to recognize how invested you have been in some silly attitude. Nothing is more liberating than laughing about yourself. Well, there you have it. A little bit of information about all four of my forthcoming books. The first one being Honoring Your Spiritual Compass, which you can expect to be available in bookstores and online by mid-2021. Second book being Training Manual for Practitioners to Professionally Administer Therapeutic Spiritual Counseling. The third book, 365 Days of Spiritual Inspiration. The fourth book, a collection of essays about applying the spiritual dynamics behind what we experience in the moments of our lives to have a better existence, which is the purpose of all of these books, by the way. And to keep up with everything and to read a lot of my articles, and even better yet, see my videos, see testimonials from participants who have worked with me, and other information about my techniques and other related material, you can always go to my website, dexsessions.com. There is a page there for contacting me, so please feel free. I'm not hard to find, and I tend to be very responsive when you reach out to me. And please also know that I would love to help you to resolve your own internal oppositions, the energies of your negative spiritual architectures, the disturbing feelings, and connect with and very easily move through to accomplishing your aspirations. There is nothing that can't be spiritually digested, resolved. There is no aspiration that is beyond your reach. And we can make a huge difference working together. So why don't you see me for a free session? And then if you like, we can go from there. And stay tuned for more information about my books. But now you know, now you're up to date. Thanks for listening.